I'm Mathew Drew Turner, and you're watching Rugby Wrap Up.
Presented by our friends at the British Council. Hey everybody, Matt McCarthy for Rugby Wrap Up, back here at the Fantasy Sports Network, Studio 34 on West 35th Street in Manhattan, and I have the pleasure of being here with Sam Edgerly, who is one of the best-looking players that I have ever seen in my life. Sam, you handsome man, you.
Thank you very much, Matt. It's great to be here, mate. What a lovely introduction.
You didn't know I was going to start that way, did you?
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, aside from having great hair, Sam is an exceptional rugby player. He's fast on his feet, literally and physically, because he's an Oxford University guy now, after having played with England Sevens. Sam, how many caps with England Sevens do you have?
I knew you were going to sting me with this one. I'm not sure exactly how many caps I have, as I'm sure Turner will agree with. There's quite a few games within the Sevens tournaments, but I did about 3 seasons with the England Sevens. I think I hit 11 or 12 World Series tournaments and numerous European FIRA tournaments.
So the answer, you don't have an answer to the question. So we stymied the Oxford guy right out of the gate.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
All right. You referenced Turner, which is Mathew Drew Turner, who is actually on the horn with us live via Skype from Cape Town, South Africa, because this guy is living the life. He's also fast on his feet. Mr. Turner, can you hear us?
Yeah, I've got you. Can you hear me?
We can. This is a miracle of science. Mathew Drew Turner, England Sevens player. He had the luxury of playing with Sam a few times. Matt, what can you tell us a little bit about Sam on the pitch?
I guess with Sam, where he lacks in height, he lacks in energy. So that was always the nice thing about playing with Sam. You know, you always could look over at him and say, if you didn't feel like running, he always wanted to. So that was one of the good things about Sam out there. All
right, and Sam, you want to fire back here?
Well, yeah, as you said, Turner was very quick on his feet, and I think Turner was known for doing just enough. He always knew that he could beat someone, but he would make it so that he just beat them and just dotted down.
Well, you got to keep the fannies in the seats, right?
Exactly.
So, Mathew, you and Sam, from what I understand, are now both working with UR7s in some capacities. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think we do slightly different things. Sam does more of the coaching stuff in the UK. In South Africa, it's more around events. There's beach rugby. There's non-contact sevens. It's more about developing rugby as a whole here in South Africa.
Could you say that again? We had a little
new ways to get people playing the game and sort of not reinventing the wheel, but just make.
And we lost him.
We've lost him. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. So
that was terribly boring anyway.
You know, we with the producer, Greg Sussman, did pull the plug on Mathew Drew Turner downstairs because he was falling asleep.
I think so. I think that's what happened.
Just kidding, Matt. While we get Matt Turner back on, we might be getting him back on right now. You're basically in the coaching.
Yeah, so as Matt said, I'm doing some coaching for Tom Burwell, who founded UR7s in the UK. And it's actually really, really exciting because when I first started out with Sevens, there was no sort of academy or, there was no grassroots into Sevens. I still think that is kind of the case, but Tom is really making a pathway now for young players to start learning the game of Sevens, which is different from 15s from an earlier age. And he's creating a buzz around Sevens and giving younger guys the option to, choose between Sevens and 15s, which is really, really exciting.
And this is global, right?
Yeah, it's global. So as Matt says, he's doing some work out there in South Africa, doing similar kind of things, sort of building up the brand of Sevens. And I believe Tom is expanding that. I'm sure Matt can enlighten you a bit more. He's a bit more involved with the program than I am.
Yeah, obviously South Africa is, as I said earlier, it's a little bit different. It's sort of just getting people playing, whether you're a you know, a 35-year-old retired player and you still want a bit of competitive nature, you come down to the beach and we use the sand as a leveler for everyone, because it doesn't matter how fast you are, sand is very hard to run on, and it's very tiring. But as Sam was saying, it's about developing people and creating that pathway of playing sevens from a younger age. In South Africa, there's actually not a lot of sevens played when you're at schoolboy rugby. It's all 15s focused. And that is the goal over here, is to, you know, from a young age, identify that you want to go the sevens and the Olympic routes rather than, you know, the World Cup, the traditional 15s route.
So I don't know how familiar you guys are with what's going on over here in terms of sevens. Matt, you spent some time over here now out in Seattle. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. So we've got the thing called Super Sevens Rugby, which is going to be a sevens league. But what they're doing is they're changing the rules slightly. So it's going to be 6 men's and 6 women's teams. They're going to play 4 12-minute quarters. They're going to have rolling subs on any dead ball. They're going to have a 3-minute break between quarters with 6-minute half times. And there's 16-player rosters, and all 16 players can play. And the coaches get 1 challenge each quarter.
Wow, that sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah?
Sounds like a lot will be happening there, especially with the rolling subs. I think sevens, you know, it's so tiring. So to be able to, you know, tap in and tap out of the game. Actually, funnily enough, I went to watch my first ice hockey game the other day at Madison Square Garden, which is incredible. And obviously they had rolling subs there. And I guess sevens is similar, sort of fast pace, constantly moving. And, you know, that constant switching of subs with the 16 players will make for a really good spectacle, I think.
What did you think of the in-stadium experience for fans at Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, I thought it was incredible, and I think it's something that the UK could definitely learn from. And actually, you know, rugby in general doesn't provide that entertainment experience, and that's really something that I think in, you know, the States, they could really bring that to rugby and make it, you know, a real fan spectacle. You know, they had all the lyrics of the songs that the audience had to chant, you know, when there was an ice hockey goal. I'm not sure what it's called. Is it a goal?
It's a goal.
It's a goal.
It's actually it's an elbow.
An elbow. Yeah, I saw a little fight, which was great to watch as well. Yeah, I think it was really exciting, and you know, the crowd was. It was only a pre-season game, but the crowd was so up for it. And I think sometimes, you know, less so with sevens, but sometimes with 15s, you don't get that sort of interaction with the audience, and it's definitely something, you know, that's rife in the States, and it could be really exciting if that took off over here.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because on the way back from the match where with Oxford, you were playing against the Collegiate All-Americans down as a warm-up match before the Newcastle Saracens match. And I was with Mark McCafferty of the Premiership riding back from the match, and he was asking us about the in-stadium experience. And I told him, don't compare it to the NFL and the NBA and even Major League Baseball for the fan experience at the stadium, because those sports have multiple timeouts. There's plenty of time to do stuff. With rugby, it's more like ice hockey, and I was an ice hockey player. So
okay, cool.
It's, you know, you're describing the in-stadium experience there. That's why I was asking you about it. That's more applicable than any of the other American sports. And you know, you don't want to take all of it, because then it's just gonna get crazy. But if you take some of the experience from the NHL, that would be a good thing to try to follow.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, as you say, I think it'll make, you know, for a better audience experience, and make the game that bit more exciting.
All right, so guys, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with Mr. Sam Edgerly and Mr. Mathew Drew Turner calling in from South Africa just after these words.
All right, everybody, how's it going? We sip, we peel, and we slide. Nah, like this. We sip, we peel, we win.
I think I'm getting this.
Grab a large or extra large freshly ground, freshly brewed hot coffee for your chance to win great prizes like free coffee for a year. Get your celebration ready. Dunkin' Donuts. This is coffee. This is winning.
If you're just joining us, this is a big match and a big moment as Clijsters toes the line.
You know, John, Anderson has really been struggling out there today. huge mistake as Kleisters clinches another title. Don't let your nutrition get in the way. USANA, the official multivitamin of the WTA.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Rugby Wrap-Up. Matt McCarthy here at the Fantasy Sports Network, Studio 34 on West 35th Street in New York City. I have Sam Edgerly and Mr. Mathew Drew Turner with me, Sevens experts extraordinaire. Gentlemen, we were just briefly talking about the Super Sevens League coming out, but before we continue with that, you guys are both still playing rugby, right? I mean, there's no doubt about it. I saw you firsthand twice in the last week playing. Turner, what are you doing on the pitch these days?
As you know, I've just been over there playing for the Seattle-based club side, so the club nationals. I'm actually busy trying to sort something out with the Major League at the moment, so that'll be my next rugby, getting back out in the field. But at the moment, I'm plying my trade on the Camps Bay beach every Thursday evening.
That's not bad. So you're talking about Major League Rugby, the league that's going to launch next spring sometime here in the United States. Is that accurate?
Yes, that is accurate.
And would that be with the Seattle franchise that you're trying to work something out with?
We'll have to wait and see.
Oh, you cheeky bird, you. So, yes, that's a yes. Interesting. So, back to 15s from 7s. And what about Super 7s? I guess it would have to be at a different time, and you'd have to have permission from your Major League Rugby franchise. But would you do both?
Yeah, I mean, I think, if there's an opportunity, I'd have a look at it. As the States, in terms of rugby, any form of rugby will just help rugby all around in North America. I think it's an interesting concept, and I know they trialed it with sort of college players, etc. But I think there's going to be a few nicks and crannies, obviously, in the first season with it being not really played by pros, and with pros coming in, fitness levels, sort of how you approach the game. I think it's a great concept. I think it fits the American model of sort of more advertising, more, as you're talking about, entertainment around the games. And, the sub in, sub out sounds like a dream to any player.
Okay, so you're definitely in for whatever kind of form of rugby that might be played professionally here in the United States. Where are you playing other than at Oxford? Are you still bouncing around with clubs, or what are you doing?
So the way it works with Oxford University is you can actually only play for Oxford from when term starts, from October until the varsity match, which is December the 7th, I think, this year. I'll be fully committed to Oxford until then. And
just from October to December?
October to December, so it's a very short season. It's actually it's very exciting, and it's quite similar to West Point, the military academy, when the Army plays the Navy. So we spent a bit of time there, and actually we found sort of some common ground with the fact that really only one game matters for us, and that's beating Cambridge, and as the same for them, only one game matters to beat the Navy. So it's quite an interesting season. We have all these warm-up games, we call them, as it's not really a league. So right. We play against, Premiership A-League sides, the Army, the Navy, but it's all building up towards Cambridge in December, and if we win that's all that matters.
That's dark blues versus light blues, right?
It is, yes. Yeah.
You got a prediction? You want to say it right here? You want to give them some locker room fodder for the bulletin board?
I'm going to predict a dark blues win. I'm not sure what the score will be, but I'm hopeful that we're going to win.
I'm going to change gears. We have 2 minutes left. I want to change gears real quickly on you two. You're in South Africa. You're in England. The Pro 14 is now encompassing teams from the UK and South Africa. Is this going to work? Turner, you go first.
Yes, I think it will. It's to me, the whole sort of Super Rugby model is quite a strange one, because you play across such vast different time zones. To me, it makes sense that South African teams are playing up north in Europe, with a 1 or 2 hour difference in time. Just for player welfare, it makes sense. It's going to be interesting to sort of see, in my eyes, sort of what players then try and play for what team in South Africa, because a lot of South African players look to go to Europe and everything, and if they're playing for now the Cheetahs and the Kings, they get a bit of actual, I'd call it a shop window whenever they go there to play the teams, to sort of meet and greet and show off what they can do, if they feel that's the path they want to take. But I think the whole Sanzar thing, I think that for Super Rugby, they need to get in a couple Islander sides. I think that makes sense to me. And then play across time zones. You know, best, you know, playoff and North to South, top two from each come together and play a little go at each other.
All right, we're having a little bit of difficulty with the transmission on you, Matty, but I think we got that. So, Sam, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I agree with Matt. I think, you know, in terms of time zones, it makes sense. I know that when we played sevens, it really did have a hindrance on our performance when we were jet lagged. You know, when we travelled, I remember travelling from Wellington, New Zealand, over to Vegas, how the old setup used to be, and, you know, it was really tough to get into the swing of things. So I think it does make sense, you know, only having an hour or so's difference. Yeah, I think it could work well.
All right, on that note, guys, we're gonna wrap this up, but before we go, I've got to salute James Rodwell, a guy that you guys know very well, the warrior that he is, and the career he's had.
The camel.
And now he's playing with you on Oxford. Oh, wait, that's Will.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he's not. He's got to look it like Will Wilson.
Yeah, Will Wilson.
Yeah, Junior Rodwell.
Yeah, it's
Junior Camel, we call him.
Had the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Wilson in Philadelphia, and I said to him, "Are you being sued by James Rodwell for stealing his look?"
That's not a look you want to steal either, is it, really?
You guys can go down that path. I'm not. No, James, we love you, by the way. Don't hurt me. On that note, gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure. You two are always welcome back here, and continued success on and off the pitch. And I'd like to get into Oxford University if you could do something for me there. And I'd like a cap with some nation, if you could work it out with the Blitzbach or the Springboks or England Rugby. I'd appreciate that too.
Anytime, mate. Thanks so much for having us. It's been brilliant. Thank you.
Matthew, we'll talk to you soon.
That's been great. Thanks. Yeah, of course. I'm always around. I'll be that side of the world soon, so I'll keep checking the posts for my invite.
All right, guys, give me where can people find you, Matt, on the internet if they need to get a hold of you for UR7s or some speaking engagement?
You can get hold of me at matt.turner@ur7s.com, or if you want to get hold of UR7s directly, just click through our website. Emails come through to us eventually, or just send me a message on Facebook. I'm always around. You know, technology these days, it beeps in my pocket and I reply.
And Sam?
Yeah, same as Matt. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's probably the easiest way to get hold of me.
All right. And there you have it. On behalf of Mr. Sam Edgerly and Mr. Mathew Drew Turner, Matt McCarthy for Rugby Wrap-Up here at the Studio 34 Fantasy Sports Network, signing off.